People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good evening, I hope you're doing well and safe. Now at this point, I've recorded a lot of videos that I'll bring out at a later date. I've streamed for a couple of hours and I'm still making videos. I'm really trying to take advantage of my time booked off from work. I can't lie, people, I'm sweating, it's boiling, but the news is coming thick and fast. Now, we know in Arsenal's case, we're hoping Aubameyang signs a new deal. We're hoping for Partey and Aouar to go with Willian and Gabriel. But outgoings, if you're an Arsenal fan a week before the window, well, not the window shuts, but the season's starting, you would have thought some futures would have been sorted out. Like, again, anything can happen. But at this moment in time, Aubameyang's deal hasn't been announced. It'd be nice, lovely for me to go into the season with no speculation over our captain. Obviously, we need some outgoings, whether that's to generate funds, whether that's to register new players, because it is a bit of a techie one. When you look at the homegrown rule and the amount of homegrown players we have, some have to stay to register players and whatnot. And it might get to a point where we might have to register a couple of under-21s, even though they don't need to, because of this. So we'll have to see, man. Oh yeah, before I get onto the transfers, congratulations to Granit Xhaka. I know he's captained his country before, but I believe he's outright been named as the captain for Switzerland. It's a fantastic achievement, wherever way you shape it and whatever you got to say about him. Now, Torreira. Now, I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of news regarding Torreira, regarding the specifics of the deal, how much we're going to get. Is it an option? Do they get a buy option? Is it an obligation to buy? Obviously, if it's an obligation, they have to do it. But I'm sure you've all seen, and again, depending on what report you read, this all changing, people. But courtesy of the Telegraph, they say Arsenal hope to generate at least 20 million from the sale of Torreira, who is open to returning to Italy in the coming weeks. Fiorentina are among the interested clubs, with Italian sources suggesting a deal could be agreed in the next coming days. It went on to say the Gunners have agreed a deal to send the Uruguayan midfielder to Fiorentina for a 7 million loan fee with a 14 million obligation to buy. Others say, you know, it's an 8 million loan fee and a 16 million thing next year. And on the face of it, do you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. For whatever reason, I don't, you know, when Torreira first came through the Emirates door, he was one of the first names on the team sheet. I still think he's got a use. I hear the criticisms about his ball playing ability and about his stature, but I don't think it stands really. I think there's a role for him. But if Arteta, for whatever reason, thinks that he's not what we need and he wants to go do other things, whether that's Partey or whatever, cool, this is it. This is what happens. We get our money back. We kind of break even. But for me, we're selling ourselves a bit short, because you'd like to feel, you know, Torreira isn't... Okay, if we need funds to go and buy Partey and what else we're doing, then I understand moving on to Torreira's. Maitland looks to stay, but Maitland previously. People that have a small sort of resale value, I get it. Clearly, we find it hard to move on. Mustafi's form under Arteta's been good, but typically we've tried to move him on for a couple of years. Hasn't been successful. El Nene, no disrespect to him, can't imagine he has too many suitors. Socrates, we'll get onto it, allegedly is going Napoli. Kolasinac is linked with Schalke, but none of these things are happening, and there's reasons for all of these things not to happen, whether it's wages and whatnot. Torreira is one of the few players you can say, alright, cool, a team would calmly take a chance on Torreira. And I'm sure many Arsenal fans, whether whether you rate Torreira or not, you do concede that he is a decent player. And my worry is this, you know, he's 24. And he's 24, we signed him for 26 million and we only signed him 2 years ago. So with that being said, this tells me that we just need to raise funds to do whatever we want to do, because if you don't include a sell-on fee, which if I'm Fiorentina, I'm not allowing Arsenal to do, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. If he signs for 20 odd million, maybe even up to 30 on a good day, you'd like to imagine he's going to get there, play a couple of, like I said, he's 24, in the next 2 years, you know, the bigger teams in Italy could come calling, or a next team in the league or wherever. Now, you know, I'm not here to be them guys talking about we could have had him to do this. I'm thinking about the P's. Are we selling ourselves a bit short, whether he needs to go or not? Are we selling ourselves a bit short here? There is reason to believe we are. You know, in this day and age as well, where shitter players, forgive me for my profanity, have left for less, but it is what it is, man. Torreira, I want Torreira to stay, but for me, I'm tired of the sissy boy thing, man. Like, 1 minute you're always crying about going back to Italy, and again, it might not be true, but if that's what you want to do, then go, man. I don't want players whose heads are not here, you know. It don't matter how good you are. If you're not with this team next season, you need to be moved on, because to have any hope of top 4, we need to all sing from the same hymn sheet. So good luck to Torreira, you know. He's always acted with integrity, but a mixture of, you know, not really receiving game time, injuries, you know, I mean, his mentality, I have to question it. Not his professionalism, but it's like he just doesn't seem strong enough in the mind, really. So I get it. I want him to stay. it is what it is, man. Hopefully we get a decent fee, but I do think if it is the fees mentioned in question, we are selling ourselves very short. Dani Ceballos apparently will be an Arsenal player, and it could be announced in the next 24 hours. Apparently Ceballos has already started his 2-week quarantine period and will be available to face West Ham on the 17th of September. It is more likely, however, that his first involvement of the season will come away at Liverpool the following week. So, you know, there might be a couple of weeks where we're relying on Xhaka and El Nene as our midfield partnership, assuming nobody comes in. I'm sure you'll have something to say. For me, with Arteta, you know, Ceballos was turned a new leaf under him, and you just want him to come back and pick off where he's left off, really and truly. You know, he's got every reason to play well. You know, he wants to retain the faith of Arteta. He wants to improve. Obviously, next year will be international tournaments. You've got to play regularly and play well to get in that Spain side, and this is it, people, really and truly. So there's that. One that's gone away a few months ago, but's come back, few weeks, apologies, but come back. Apparently, Arsenal were offered West Ham's Brazilian forward Felipe Anderson with a staggering loan fee of $5 million. This is reported by the Mirror, and apparently Edu did want him a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if that's true. I'm just simply mentioning it. Away from that though, people, and apparently the Napoli president has said, we are working to get Socrates from Arsenal. We're considering him as an option. Koulibaly, I'm ready to sell if some club will submit the right offer. So again, is he a replacement for Koulibaly? Judging by that sentence, you'd be inclined to believe yes, but at the same time, he could be used with them. For me, I'm happy for Socrates. At the end of the day, he goes somewhere where he's more wanted and has more of a chance of playing first-team football. He returns to similar surroundings. He's played in Italy, you know, and it's a lovely country and a lovely region of Naples as well. Football is a religion there, and Socrates is, you know, I think he'll like it there. Obviously, he's 32 on 95 bags a week at Arsenal, so I'm not too sure how his wages will be supplemented. But his age is irrelevant in Italy. You know, you see many men play for many years. You know, Aubameyang spent periods in Italy. Is it any coincidence that, you know, he's training well, he's never injured, he's always fit, and again, his biological age is what, 30 odd, but, you know, in real terms, what is his actual age? You know, if we was to look at his physical qualities, or someone was to run the risk, you know, he probably is a couple of years younger. That doesn't mean he's going to play till he's 40. That just means he looks after himself, and that's why I actually want Aubameyang to get the deal, because it's not like he's any 30-year-old that's not looking after himself, that has a bit of a shaky record of injuries. No, he's playing well, he's playing consistent, and he's never injured. Now, touch wood, things can happen, of course, people. And obviously Aubameyang thrives in a team that statistically don't create anything. But if we can move on, Socrates, that's 95k off a week off the wages. Obviously, we all know you're probably hoping on anything from £3 to £5 million for Socrates. For me, I'm more looking at freeing up wages. For Torreira, I think we're selling ourselves a bit short because he's not rubbish, and the details are yet to emerge. But at the end of the day, if he's not a tactical fit, if we need to sell players to raise funds, then, you know, Guendouzi and Torreira are the first names really in terms of resale value. Maitland-Niles was, but things have changed because the rubbish players ain't going to bring in the fees we need to go and do other things in the market. A report in Italy also said Napoli chose Socrates in the case of Koulibaly's departure. An agreement was found with Arsenal for about €4.5 million, and the player will receive €2.5 million per season for 3 years. So, you know, at 32, if you can get a 3-year deal, that's decent, and that's a respectable salary. So, you wish you all the best, Socrates, man. Do your thing, really. Like, it's what it is. Obviously, we've spoken about Torreira, we've spoken about Felipe Anderson, Socrates, and the rest of it. Finally, it's a bit irrelevant from Arsenal, but we have in 2 summers bought Gabriel and Pepe from Lille. I know a lot of you like Samore in midfield, and he once almost went Newcastle, and it seems Lille are open to selling him. You know, if this Partey thing isn't going to happen, again, we don't know what is what. But I do hope there's plan B and C targets. If they're not like Partey, they kind of, with their own twist, bring what he brings in it. For me, I'm looking for an engine. I'm looking for a box-to-box. I'm looking for a bit of tenacity. I'm not looking at you to be, you know, Kevin De Bruyne and break the lines consistently, but I want to know you can pass the ball forward in it. You're not going to let this thing down. I might be asking for a lot, but you look at the best midfielders, they can do a bit of everything really in the world. The Lille president, Gerard Lopez, said, "He is quite impatient to play, and that's normal. It shows ambition. He will undoubtedly leave the club. The door is open. We have concrete offers. We will talk in the coming days." Now, he's been linked with Arsenal, United, Chelsea, Newcastle, teams in Spain, you know, other teams in France, even PSG, like you would. Again, the president is throwing the gauntlet down. He said they've got concrete offers. Is that true? We'll have to see. But, you know, Arsenal probably have to start considering other targets if the Partey thing doesn't happen. I want Partey to come. I'll be gutted if it doesn't happen. But that's the way of life. You know, can you get your plan B and C targets? Clearly, the club went all out for Upamecano for the last 2 years. So I'm inclined to believe he was our first choice defensive target. For whatever reason, it couldn't happen. We've gone back to Leo, like with Pepe. They understand how we like to pay our fees and stuff. And we've got in Gabriel. Now, Gabriel, I'm happy with Gabriel. Equally, he's got potential. That's what I care about. If we can't get a target, can we get a suitable BC? It's the same with replacements. If you're not Lionel Messi or Ronaldo, I don't care if you want to leave Arsenal. I've seen Thierry Henry leave this club, innit? Came back, but that broke my heart, so I don't care. For me, it's about the replacement things. Like if Aubameyang said, F it, I want to leave, cool, leave, do your thing, big man. But can you bring in the next man for whatever fee? Can you bring in someone that can do it? It's about, you know, the foresight, and we're only going to see in years to come or months to come if what we're doing, because, you know, Arteta, you know, he is a head coach, but in terms of since Arsene Wenger left, he's got the most sort of control over transfers. Edu's obviously solely in charge of that as well. I know Vinay's involved, so we're gonna have to see if we've learned from if we've learned from the past and learned in hindsight to apply better foresight. But you know, hopefully it's promising in relation to moving off Torreira if that's what the club want, getting soccer artists off the wage book. I didn't speak of him, but you know, the likes of Kolasinac. Feel sorry to say about Anthony because he's been decent and I think he can be an okay squad player. But at the end of the day, we've got to be cruel to be kind. If he needs to leave, if there's any sort of way of getting him off the wage books, we need to do that. And there's several other players. So we'll see what happens over the coming weeks. You know, we're to the last month of the transfer window. So we're going to have to get a move on in relation to what we're doing. Clearly the club are trying, but transfers are not easy. So we'll see how things develop. But I ain't got nothing more to say, man. For now, I'm out though. People, it's always a pleasure, as you know. Deluded, I'm out.